What up, everybody? Just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who's supported Locked On Universe for the past 3 years. I really appreciate you. And if you've been thinking about a way to support, but you didn't have $1.99 to support for each month, that is okay. If you want to just buy me a coffee, there's an option for you to just buy me a coffee inside the description of each episode moving forward. So just highlight that, put it in your browser. You can go right there and buy me a coffee or 2 or 3. I like coffee. Who doesn't? And I would really appreciate it. And it would keep me awake enough to make more podcasts for you guys. So I would appreciate that. And just wanted to let you know. Thanks for that. And thanks for supporting the podcast. Let's get to the show. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back, welcome back. I'm your host, the man with no name, and I am back to give you some interesting conversation today. So, today's topic is going to be on the conspiracy theory television show with Jesse Ventura. One of my all-time favorite shows. Got the name right in the title, Conspiracy Theory. Can't get much better than that. But why was it taken off air? And what was the one show that they only allowed to air once and took off the television, never to be seen again? Unless you recorded it on your DVD, DVR, I should say, or VHS, because it was a little while ago. So, what was Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura? Everybody knows who Jesse Ventura is. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Conspiracy Theory. This is how today's show will go. I'll give you a little bit of info on the Conspiracy Theory television show. And then I'll give you a little bit of info about which show they took off the air. And why I think that was, or why they actually did it. Why I think it was, and why I believe they did it. And then a little bit more info on kind of some behind the scenes behind this show and why it was taken off the air. So, the television show Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura was an American television series hosted by Jesse the Body Ventura. Yes, Mr. WWE himself. It ran on True TV, kind of one of the lesser known television shows, or television channels, but it was one of the great ones, man. They had like God, what are those guys called? The comedians, Impractical Jokers, and it has some other pretty good shows on there too. So the show ran for 3 seasons right after Jesse basically was a governor for Minnesota. So this was like prime Jesse Ventura. I mean, like, I guess you could say prime Jesse Ventura would have been like during the Predator and like WWE, but this was like a great second aspect of his life. This guy's had like a hell of a life too. He was a Navy SEAL. Okay. Then he was a WWE legend. Okay. And then he just kept going and doing all these amazing things. He became governor later in his life of Minnesota. Then he ran a conspiracy show. Then he wrote a book. Then he sued some people. I mean, it's just like on and on and on. This dude had a hell of a life, man. I would love to have Jesse Ventura's life. I wouldn't want to be a Navy SEAL, but that's just because I'm chicken. But so the show ran from 2009 to 2012 and was canceled in 2013. Okay, so it's got 22 episodes in total. It's got 3 seasons, and he had a variety of folks on them. Now, the format was basically that these folks would go out and try to solve or talk about some conspiracy theories and try to prove whether or not they actually happen or not. So they had a few folks. They had Alex Piper, which was a skeptic. They had a reporter named June Sarpong and an investigator named Michael Braverman. Okay, later in season 2, they had a couple extra people, and then in season 3, they had Oliver Stone's son, Sean Stone, as part of the investigative team. So this show got a lot of viewers. They had 1.63 million viewers. It was the biggest audience for a new series launch. The next 2 episodes were watched by 1.586 million and 1.3 million. Over the first 3 episodes, it averaged 1.5 million. So this show was not without its viewership. Okay, there's plenty of people to watch this thing. Okay, this is one of the things, one of the reasons I was kind of pissed that they closed off and shut down UFO Hunters, because it was the highest rated show on the History Channel at the time. Pawn Stars wasn't out yet, and a lot of these other, like, Mike and Frank shows, the American Picker shows, weren't out yet. American Pickers, the UFO Hunter show, that was out like 2008 to like 2011, something like that. Same time period as Jesse's show, and then they kind of went just more realistic. They started shutting down these paranormal shows. But the question is, what the hell happened with this show, and what is the one show that they never showed again? So these shows went out all over the place. They would talk to sitting elected officials about conspiracies in their area. I mean, these guys were ballsy, dude. They would go right up into the office, get an interview. They would talk to these folks. They would grill them. And a lot of these elected officials were pretty legit. They were not defensive. They were just like, this is what's going on. This is what's up, and da-da-da-da-da. But one show in particular caused so much controversy that the network would never show it again. The episode was from season 2, and it was titled Police State. It caused so much controversy because it investigated allegations that there were various prison-like facilities built around the country that were operated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and would be used during martial law for the internment of citizens who were deemed a threat to national security. So officers and officials said that the facilities that they're talking about were emergency FEMA camps that could house civilians that were displaced because of natural disasters. What a fantastic and easy response to any inquiry at all. So U.S. Representative Steve Cohen from Tennessee co-sponsored a bill that aimed to create temporary FEMA camps for the housing of these folks, and he was interviewed for this show in his district. Okay, and this is exactly what this show was about: interviewing officials and trying to get the real deal story. Even if the officials weren't going to tell a story, these guys would grill them, and they would interview other people that had witnessed any type of bizarre conspiracies firsthand, eyewitnesses. So shortly after this episode aired, Cohen, the representative from Tennessee, who co-sponsored this FEMA camp bill, he called for the removal of the program. Well, because it would have looked bad for him politically, right? So he called for the removal of the program from True TV's lineup. He called the episode an outrageous distortion and an outright lie. Sounds exactly like a political elected official would say, right? A politician. So he said it was dangerous and irresponsible when the media purposely distorts the facts and creates confusion to mislead people. Well, guess what? The government has lied to us for nonstop for over 8 decades about one thing. Imagine what else they're lying to us about. Sorry to say, but they've lied about everything. I mean, they lied about all kinds of covert operations, alien existence, operations to take out heads of other states, heads of other countries. I mean, the list goes on, and they've hid all kinds of things. Not just that, and they've carried out experiments on civilians. So for them to say, "Oh, it's dangerous and irresponsible," well, F you, buddy. Okay, because we are allowed to have freedom of press, and we're allowed to say what we want. You can disagree with it. You can sue us if you want, but we have freedom of speech. So for you to come in and say, "Oh, you can't run this," too goddamn bad, dude. Too goddamn bad. You don't control the media. Okay? So True TV didn't want to get sued, right? They're not CBS, they're not NBC. They pulled it. So they pulled it, and they stated that they were shocked and appalled, and Cohen also said he was shocked and appalled that Time Warner would air a program so full of inaccuracies. But there was another allegation that was brought up in the same episode, and this was a good one because it was focused on a private facility outside of Covington, Georgia, that was stockpiling thousands of plastic bins alleged to be used for coffins during mass burials. Now, if you remember conspiracy theory, Jesse the Body Ventura was friends with Alex Jones, and he had Alex Jones come on to one of the shows. He started to explain, and they went to these sites and took video of all of these humongous, deep, like 5 foot deep, like 8 foot long coffin, like plastic liners, and they there was legit video. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times, and they interviewed that lady about the coming vaccines that would wipe out a good portion of the planet. Now, isn't that interesting? Because that was back in 2008. So, going back to this episode, in response to the criticism, Misty Schedule, a Turner spokesperson, described conspiracy theory as an entertainment program that appears on an entertainment network. So they were trying to promote the fact that it was an entertainment show, not just always spewing facts, but giving entertainment as well. And although most of the episodes on conspiracy theory have been in reruns, the Police State Show episode has been only shown once, pretty much largely due to the controversy around the show. So later on, they say there were some production issues. After 2 seasons of the show, the creation of future episodes was in jeopardy. On January 25th, 2011, the Drudge Report announced that Jesse Ventura, had filed a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security and the Transportation Security Administration, or the TSA, because he was getting body searched continually. Warrantless and suspiciousless scans and body searches is what he stated in his lawsuit. Ventura, who had a titanium hip replacement, claimed that he always set off metal detectors and was always pulled out of line for lengthy pat-downs. Very interesting, but this happens a lot, right? So, I mean, is it just because it's Jesse? I mean, everybody knows Jesse. What's he going to be doing? Like, seriously, you know what I mean? Like, why pull him out of line? I mean, he might have a legitimate case here. But anyway, the day of that announcement, Alex Jones, who was one of his consultants and a frequent guest, said on his show that he had witnessed pat-downs of Ventura at the Atlanta International Airport while filming Conspiracy Theory, during which Ventura loudly protested that America is turning into East Germany. Jones said that Ventura, who flew 2 to 3 times a week for Conspiracy Theory, refuses to fly commercially again, and he vowed that he reiterated this after his lawsuit against the TSA was dismissed on 2011. May 2013, Ventura claimed and confirmed that the show had been discontinued and there would be no 4th season. Now, it's interesting because there's also an unshown TSA episode. In November 2012, Jesse had a appearance on Alex Jones's InfoWars Conspiracy Theory radio show. Ventura stated that he and his team filmed an episode where the TSA was doing full-body scanners that were carcinogenic, but that the episode did not air on the instructions of True TV network executives. They didn't want to get sued by the TSA or the government. Ventura contended that persons unknown influenced True TV to do that. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? There's so many episodes that were controversial. The very first episode they had in 2009, December 2nd, was on HAARP. One of the biggest controversies and conspiracy theories out there, that the government has weather modification and they can use it for mind control. The second episode was on 9/11 and the black box recordings that came from the September 11 attacks, and that it could be an inside job. I mean, if they wanted to cancel this show, they could have done it way earlier on. They have global warming, Big Brother, Manchurian Candidate, and then season 2 had Area 51. Police State was the 4th episode where they canceled it, but the description states that Ventura is joined by conspiracy talk show host Alex Jones, looks into the plans and procedures put in place by the government for declaring martial law. They investigate new enforcement of fusion centers that may be in control of rumored internment camps for rounding up U.S. citizens who are deemed to be a threat to national security. They also had like the JFK assassination. That's going to be too outdated. They're not going to get in trouble for that. Great Lakes, a worldwide conspiracy, water conspiracy that people were, the super rich are buying up water rights around the country and around the world. They had a Pentagon episode. And then in season 3, they started getting kind of wild. They did a reptilian conspiracy and a shape-shifting episode with David Icke. They did a death ray. They did time travel. They did a Skinwalker Ranch one, which is cool. A Brain Invaders one with allegations that microwave transmitting Gwen towers were starting to, or continuing project MK Ultra. So there's a lot that they went into. I mean, I'm impressed on the depth that they went to in this show. I love the way they filmed it. They filmed it like very expediently. Like there was like a lot of like urgency is the right word. They filmed it with a lot of urgency. It appeared that they were real investigators. You know, the way they filmed it, they were out to go get this information. They were flying all over the country, and maybe, you know, they just ticked off the wrong person. Basically, they ticked off the wrong person. That person just happened to be, you know, one of the U.S. representatives. And, you know, there you go. It doesn't matter if you were an underwater demolition team expert or a UDT Navy SEAL or a professional wrestler or a governor of Minnesota. But I got to tell you, if you like Jesse and you like those shows, YouTube Jesse Ventura and Pierce, oh God, what's his name? That Pierce guy that's on that television show in Britain. Oh man, I can't remember his name now. Sorry, my sleepy time medications are kicking in. But boy, that interview, man, I'm sure you just type in Jesse Ventura and Pierce, it's going to come up. That interview that he did, Jesse just rips him a new one. I mean, he rips him a new one, and it is fan-freaking-tastic, because most people don't like that guy anyway. It seems like True TV and a lot of these other channels, like History Channel, they put a lot of shows on for just a few seasons and take them off. That's not that bizarre. But for them to specifically take an episode off because one person has an issue with it, that goes against your free rights. You know, your First Amendment right for the free speech and for free media, and to have freedom of the press. Now, if you're, you know, causing what do they call? There's a legal term. Was it not label, but you're basically causing lies to inhibit the income for certain individuals. Libel, yeah. So if you're committing that, you know they can sue you. So I guess that was their concern. But in all honesty, I mean, you know, we didn't have any truth, and I guess if the truth was that they were right, then maybe that's why the U.S. representative wanted that show taken off the air, because he didn't want to get kicked out of office. But you got to remember, these representatives only stay in office for 4 years, you know. So I mean, for them to like be so upset about it, they're only temporary. So they would only have to, you know, answer to the public for these shows for, you know, a couple of years. Maybe it would be enough. Maybe they were worried about criminal indictments. I don't know. But it does seem rather bizarre that they would cancel an episode and never allow it to be seen again. So hopefully I can try to find this episode and look at it, because it's the whole show is great, but why did they take this one episode off? And why did they take off UFO Hunters if it was one of the highest rating shows of all time, you know, on their channel, on the History Channel? You know, when you get these really high rated shows and then they kick them off because they're about conspiracies, it makes it a conspiracy theory itself. So anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents. My phone's running out of battery. I apologize. But I will bring you another podcast coming up here shortly. Get it plugged in. And I hope you guys are having a great night. Continue to question the universe around you, man. There's lots of Lots of weird stuff that goes on around behind the scenes, especially with media that we don't know about. But I want you guys to continue to keep yourselves positive spiritually, mentally, physically, following through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. As always, take care of your family, take care of your loved ones, take care of yourself. And as always, Lockdown Universe out.